Please click like and subscribe and that little notification bell for the next episode.
So originally started by three brothers in 2007, John, Josh, and Jeremy. I'm one of the oldest brothers at 28. We decided this town needed a brewery, so we figured it's the gateway to the Grand Canyon. We're on Route 66. Let's make the best of both worlds. So we opened the Grand Canyon Brewing Company. This is an old Bohemian system imported out of Europe. It's a 15 barrel. We brew about 600 gallons at a time. This is called a mash tun. The stop section, we put in 1,000 pounds of grain. The more grain we put in, the higher the alcohol. The darker the grain, the darker the beer. From there, we add water. The water pulls the sugar out of the grain, which you can see in this window here. We transfer it across here. It goes into our kettle. Once it goes into our kettle, we actually produce a boil. You can see the hops that are floating around in there. So we add the hops for bitterness, give it the smell. And at this point, all it is sugar water called wort. What you're seeing here is boiling wort, and that is a boiling Pilsner. So you actually cool it down through this heat exchanger. From 202 degrees, we bring her down to whatever the pitchable temperature that the brewer wants for the yeast. Comes into this conical fermenter. So we add the yeast into it. The living organism eats the sugar. If you could see in this tank, the water would just be very violent from the yeast trying to fight each other to eat the sugar, which produces alcohol and its byproduct CO2. And if you could just see the bubbles coming out, and that's from the excess pressure of the CO2. This is a 30 barrel fermenter. Each one of these are individually glycol jacketed. We can cool the temperature of the tank down to 32 degrees. So at a cold temperature, if the yeast falls out of the solution, that's why these are conical, so they slide down, and we can pull the beer out or dump the yeast. Once this happens, it sets and ages. Ales take us 2 weeks, our lagers take us 6 weeks. Once that time frame's gone, we filter the products, and from there, it's finished product. We top off the CO2, and we put it inside cans, bottles, kegs. This is the labeler, bottler, and then our canners on the backside. So the bulk pallet of glass, 2,250 bottles per pallet. By hand, we unload these bottles and we put them on this conveyor belt. From there on the conveyor, it goes through this labeler. It gets a label on it, comes across onto this conveyor here, and it gets picked up by this rinser. We rinse and sanitize the bottles, goes through this next rotary phase. So we pump CO2 in the bottle, we pressurize it, we pull the CO2 out, you pump it again. It actually gets filled with beer and gets dropped off. And at the rate of about 16 bottles a minute. As it's foaming over, when it comes off the line, it gets a cap on it. And then we rinse the bottle, and by hand, we put it in 6-packs. We tape the boxes up, and we put them on pallets. We're at Cruiser's Cafe. And Vincent's here today. He's gonna try some of our Grand Canyon Brewing Company beer, which is actually produced directly behind us here on Route 66. Right now in front of them, I put our Whitewater Wheat, which is our lightest wheat beer. We have our Pilsner, which just won a bronze medal at the U.S. Beer Open. We have our Pale Ale, nice hoppy, easy drinking hoppy beer. We have our Sunset Amber, which also won a bronze medal at the U.S. Beer Open in the amber category. Our Starry Night Stout. We also have our IPA, our Black Iron IPA. And then we have our Raspberry Wheat, which Holly loves so much. It's her favorite beer in the world.
And so we're going to start out with the wheat.
The Whitewater Wheat.
Whitewater Wheat. Now, this is something more that you'll find Anheuser-Busch made.
It's not a rice-made beer, and it's a bronze medal winner at the U.S. Beer Open. It's our American Pilsner, which we have available in bottles. So the Horseshoe Bend, nice hoppy, higher alcohol content, more malty flavor.
Oh, yeah.
Good with some spicy Mexican food, our fajitas that we have on our menu here at Cruiser's.
Delicious. They're going to be toasted after this.
Yeah, an IPA originated, India Pale Ale.
Okay.
It's for the British warriors, and they used to ship pale ales on these boats, and by the time it got to the warriors, it was actually no good. It would spoil. So they increased the alcohol and the hops, and it became a style of its own.
Well, I'm down to my last one.
Yeah, and the last one is, I guess you can consider it a dessert. It's actually a flavored raspberry wheat.
Oh, yeah.
So about every 3 months, we come out with a new style that becomes a seasonal, and we put on tap until we sell out. So.
Hi, John. I just want to say thanks a lot for showing us your diner, your brewery, and your gift shop. You offer it all for the people on Route 66.
Hey, I appreciate having you guys come, and thanks for coming to Williams and Cruisers and the Grand Canyon Brewery.
There is plenty to see and places to eat in Williams.
Now our next stop is the iconic Twisters, restaurant and soda fountain. The mayor of Williams heard we were in town, so he met us there. Okay, we're in Williams right now, and we're talking to John Moore. He is the mayor of this town, and we're sitting in Twisters right now, which is an iconic stop here on Route 66. The whole place is designed to look like in the 1950s.